Hello, today we're talking about the essay structure for your Unseen Injustice essay. Now, the nice thing is that the structure of this essay will be very similar to the urban legend essay. They're both informative essays, so we're doing more what we did in the previous essay than, say, the narrative. But there are a few key differences, things that I want you to take a special note of for this essay. So first of all, consider your introduction paragraph. As always, you're going to have an attention getter that should be both relevant to your topic and also interesting. This is a topic that you got to choose. You found something that you found to be particularly concerning in the culture. So think about why you found it interesting. What about it spoke to you? Try to use that for something to get your reader hooked as well. For the background, you need to introduce the injustice. Briefly tell us what it is, what exactly the issue at hand happens to be. Do not give us all the details. That would be unnecessary considering you have your whole essay to do that, but just enough background to clearly understand what it is your paper will cover. Who cares, so what? Remember, you need to give some explanation for why the topic matters. The who cares is who is impacted by the injustice. So if you're dealing with something that is unjust to people in a particular country or a particular ethnic or racial or gender group in this country, etc., explain why they care, right? Who cares about it? But also, so what? There should be some indication of why it matters to anybody, why it's relevant, even if you are not the victim of some social ill, it can definitely impact you as a member of society. So we want to make sure that we are clarifying that. And then, of course, our thesis. As for the thesis, it should be a single sentence that gives the problem and a general statement about the causes, because that's our main focus, right? What is the cause of the social ill that we are dealing with? So here's an example. The state of Illinois has been without a full budget for over a year, leading to struggling schools and cut social programs because of political gridlock in Springfield and lack of voting changes. So I have my injustice, my unseen injustice, the fact that Illinois has been without a full budget. And I do mention a little bit about the problem itself, leading the struggling schools to cut social programs. Then the main focus is that causal analysis. That's my main point. Because of political gridlock in Springfield and lack of voting changes. Clearly, I'll elaborate on that in much greater detail with research in my essay, but remember, the thesis is more of a guide, an overall view of your essay. It doesn't have to give you every single detail that will be covered. So it'll be the end of your introduction, the very last sentence. And then finally, we need to consider the body. Now, with the body, there will be 3 sections, but not necessarily 3 paragraphs. For instance, you may spend 2 or 3 paragraphs on problems, on causes, etc. It's not that they each have to have their own paragraph, but rather that they all need to be covered in some way, and then you need to have paragraphs that are focused on individual points that you're trying to make. So with the problem section, you need to identify the problem, explain what it is. This can also include what will happen if left untreated. Maybe it's going to get even worse, right? So think about things like who, what, where, etc., right? The 5 W's, what exactly the problem is all about. Causes, what is causing it? Obvious versus complex. Remember, we want to really look for those complex underlying causes of the problem. And then solutions. Present what has been suggested, but do not take a stance. Remember, this is not a persuasive essay. And this is the part where some students trip up because they are so passionate that they feel the need to make a position, take a stance on it, but you need to not do that. You are merely highlighting the unseen injustice, the problem, talking about the causes, and then presenting solutions that have been put out there, but you are not to try to persuade us to do those things, right? You are presenting it in an informative way, just like in the urban legend essay. Then, of course, your conclusion should be your final thoughts, but still no argument. The best thing you can do is remember that you do not want to get persuasive. That is not the goal of this essay. We will do that in another assignment. And use research in the essay just as before to develop those body paragraphs, right? I'm still looking for good quotations, paraphrases, use of cited evidence, etc. If you can do all of that for your structure and build on all the ideas we've been developing over the last few weeks, then that would be a really good start to your essay, and you can put it all together to make a really strong, informative assignment.